Welcome everybody to the draft, episode 11, Talladega, the Jack Links 500. This one's going to be fun. We just had a week off. Man, it felt like forever. Phil, Tino, I'm glad to see you both. I'm glad we're back. Talladega will be a really fun one to talk about. Real quick, Phil, start with you. Just want to ask, how was your Easter? Did you have a good week off? Kind of take it easy a little bit.
Good week off. I thought from a NASCAR perspective, I thought the trucks and Xfinity put on a good show by themselves. Had a lot of fun betting on the trucks, winning some money there, and then watching Casey Kane's return got me fired up. I should have been wearing, I bought a Casey Kane Rockingham shirt that I should be wearing right now, I'm realizing. So that was really entertaining on Saturday. So yeah, it was a good week off. And happy to kind of ease back into it here with Talladega.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be fun. Tino, how was your week off?
It was awesome. Spent some time with friends and family, lock that in, which was nice. Really just reset the mind, getting ready for this 28 straight weeks of NASCAR racing action and the draft with you boys. So I'm excited for what the road ahead is and to continue capitalizing on a strong season thus far, right? We've had some great races and some great wins, so I'm looking forward to keeping that up.
Yeah, and on our show here, I mean, we've given out a lot of cool winning plays, a lot of cool bets throughout the year, some long shot top tens, some winners, things like that. It's been a lot of fun. So hope everyone's enjoyed it. We already got some comments pouring in here, so keep it coming, guys. One thing we talked about in the off week was our season long standings. I'll pull that up here right now, and luckily for us, we had some I don't know what you call it, backstage or behind the scenes pit reporters that stopped by each of us and did a little interview talking about the season long standings. So what we're going to do is start out tonight's show. We don't have a recap for last week, so let's play these season long interviews and see what the boys had to say.
Phil, I wanted to ask you about the season long standing teams. Any thoughts on how things are going?
Yeah. Well, obviously we're running third. We didn't come out here to run last place. That's not why we do this. So we're a little behind schedule, but I do think we're going to get there eventually. This break's going to be good for us.
Any positives you can pull?
Well, we got to give it to Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. We drafted them top of the board, and they're doing well. You told me that we drafted a guy who finished first place 2 times in a row. We're in third place ourselves. I told you you're crazy. I would have told you you're crazy. So I think we're doing well with those guys up top.
Has anyone let you down?
Well, I'd say we have a big hole in our roster with Brad Keselowski right now, really letting us down. We drafted him way too high. Looking back on it, it probably was a big miss. But I think the ceiling's higher for him than where it is right now. And we have hope that he can pull it together. But Cole Custer, he's an absolute black hole for us as far as points are concerned. Not really anything we could do, no hope there. Maybe we could work a trade, but I think these other guys in this league are a little too smart for that.
And last question, Phil, any places you could do better?
Oh, well, I think we have hope on this team for guys like Cole Custer, Chase Briscoe. I think that he's starting to pull it together, a little bit more of a high ceiling. I think that team in general is going to score some wins for us and start to rack in some points. And then you look at the bottom of the roster, guys like Michael McDowell, I think deserve better finishes than what they're getting. And, if he can get a little bit more consistent, I think we can work our way up the standings.
All right, thanks, Phil.
Tino, thoughts thus far on the season-long standings released from the draft?
Yep. Gotta just thank everyone back at the shop, putting together a great race team thus far this season. Season-long standings have been tough. It's been a grueling grind, but I got my big 3, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin as well. I think those 3 have really excelled me to be in the position I am in. Ultimately, would like a little bit better, but we got the underdogs as well. Bubba Wallace having a strong run. Ryan Preece as well. They're really doing more than what was expected at this point in the year.
What's it been like doing the draft with Ryan and Phil this year?
Yeah, I got to thank Phil and Ryan for letting me be a part of such a special program on the draft every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Tune in if you aren't already. It's been such a great show and a community to be a part of, but ultimately I want to beat those guys, right? So I got to shout out Juicy Juice for quenching my thirst, Apple and Eve every week, no one really does it like them. SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, I'm on there. WinTheRace.info as well. Appreciate all they've done for me and my program here. But we're continuing to build on the success we've had thus far. Don't want to be in second, but I am happy with the 4 overall wins I have in the weekly drafts. That means a lot to me to continue building momentum each and every week. And ultimately, I love the guys I'm playing against, but I want to be the best there is.
Looking back, which round stands out to you where you could have done better?
Yeah. There's one glaring round that I sort of messed up on, if you will say. That's round 5. 10 drivers that could have been picked before the one that I did pick in round 5. But we're staying true. We're trusting the process there with him. He's a great program builder, great glue guy, and I do believe he's going to come through in the end once the road courses start coming.
Why should people root for you in the season-long version of the draft?
Why root for me on the season-long version of the draft? Well, it's simple. I'm trying to be the best there ever is, the best to ever do it. People aren't doing it the same way I am each and every week. When Phil goes with Christopher Bell and Ryan as well, I'm going Chase Elliott. I'm making those strategic moves to potentially give myself a leg up above the rest and do my picks my own way, the Tino Patino way, that is. So we're staying gold each and every way. I hope you guys continue to join us on the draft, and ultimately, it's going to be a fun season. I'm excited to continue it on. And yeah, I'm in second place right now, but I love the competition between the 3 of us. And I know by the season end, I'll have those 2 diecasts to my name. So stay tuned and stay gold.
Hey, Ryan, I want to ask you how you felt about the draft season-long standings.
Oh, hey, I didn't see that. I was just working on my game a little bit here. It feels good to be on top. I got to say that. A lot of credit goes into the hard work we do here on the cars, all sorts of different race cars, working on them all day, going around these sharp turns. But yeah, it feels good. I'm on top. Everything's going well to start the draft season.
I noticed you barely break a sweat week to week.
Yeah, it's a lot of credit to one of my sponsors, Atlas Hair Products. It's a big part of why I don't sweat week to week. Another thing is these Pro Dry socks. FootJoy Pro Dry socks. I don't leave the house without them, but I think that's a big reason why I don't really break a sweat every week, and keeps me on top.
What's this nickname you gave your team, the Killer Bees?
Yes, the Killer Bees. That was to troll Phil, who wanted to name his team the Killer Bees, but then I go with Byron, Blaney, Bowman, Busher, and to throw another one in there, Josh Berry, who even has a win this year. They got Barry in the 9th round, so that's really, really helped me excel to the top. So the real Killer Bees are over here.
Is there anyone you need to step it up and perform better?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs was a 3rd-round pick, but word in the garage is that he's really going to pick it up here after Talladega and have a strong, strong middle of the season. So really looking forward to that, and I think he'll help me maintain my position on top as well.
Well, good luck the rest of the way, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to get back to work. All right. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Man, it was fun doing that. It's been a fun year, week to week. We've donated to 10 different charities on the weekly draft here. The season long, so much fun to follow along. We're still so early into the season, guys. Anyone can win that season long contest. So thank you. And Phil, that was awesome. You started that and you had mentioned it, and then sent that video to us, and I was just like, holy crap, he really did it. So thank you for kicking that off. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you, and whoever, was that your wife interviewing you?
Yeah, that was Stacy, my wife. Yeah, she was on her way out the door going to Target, and I held her up, so she was a good sport about it. But yeah, I mean, I think Tino came up with the whole interview concept, and I was like, I think I can make that happen. So it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's fun looking back, honestly, on that draft, because I don't think that we were too crazy compared to what the general NASCAR fan would have thought as the season started. And it is interesting to see who really has not performed well compared to where we thought they'd be at the beginning of the year, right? Like Keselowski, Gibbs, Gregson, you can see that graphic is good because it shows us really who isn't performing where they should be. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to look back on that.
I'll have that same graphic all year long as we look through it. And Tino, man, we've said it, we've joked about it, but the SVG pick, man, you really think he can bounce back for you?
I'm hoping so. It hasn't seemed likely this far in the year, and I love looking back at it too, like Phil said, because we each have that one part in our graphic where it's like right there standing out. Oh, this could have been better. Right, the Brad Keselowski, the SVG. I would probably say the Ty Gibbs for you at least first, Ryan. Right, so it's like us three across the board having that one pick that we, and I feel like those are picks where they weren't necessarily like favorites, but they could have been high value underdog plays. Brad, coming off of a strong year last year. Ty Gibbs potentially breakout season. Same thing I thought with SVG, and we're just not right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys pull us back. But I do love how close everything is right now. Like one thing you mentioned, Ryan, was like, oh, if I didn't have that SVG, maybe pick the Chris Buescher instead, I'd probably have the lead, but I kind of do like the spot we're in where we're all so close right now.
Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. One other thing we did during the off week here, and this is from comments that we had on the past shows, we have demoted, relegated Trackhouse. They're done. They're no longer on the draft. They're gone. They are now best of the rest territory. So, speaking of SVG, we lead right into that. Trackhouse demoted. They're gone. We have now swapped them out for a big 3 pick, and the big 3 pick will be just another pick from the big 3 teams of Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, or Penske. So it'll just give us an opportunity to talk about someone else who, these are the teams that are winning these races. So it gives us another opportunity to talk about a favorite, someone who should be talked about on the show that we might otherwise leave out. So that'll be fun. And I've kind of highlighted that on here and on our pick sheet that we'll do. You'll see it highlighted there in the middle. No extra points for those, but it'll be fun to pick someone else from the big 3. And we still have the wild card at the bottom too. So, you could get all these teams in there. Pretty cool. Let's head right into the race preview for Talladega. It's a drafting track. I mean, there's not going to be, we have a lot of cool stats and a lot of fun things to talk about, but as we know, anything can happen here. But Phil, why don't you take it away? What's our race preview looking like for Talladega this week?
Yeah. So like you said, super speedway, it's not too much you can really pull from the metrics and feel super confident about, but just to give you an idea what's ahead, we got 228 laps. Did I get that correct? I wrote that 188 laps. We got 60 laps in stage 1, 60 laps stage 2, 68 laps in stage 3. So yeah, 188 total. We got qualifying and practice, qualifying at 10:30 on Saturday to 12 Eastern time. But the track stats, the winners only started from the pole 13 times here. That kind of checks out because it's tough to win here, no matter where you start. Starting position really isn't the end of the world. And starting outside the top 20, it's only happened 9 times in 111 races, but the last time it happened was just last fall with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And manufacturer trends, again, don't want to get too caught up in these types of trends, but Chevy's won 4 of the 6 next-gen races at Talladega. So be interesting to see. A lot of fans kind of complaining during the next-gen era, just not great, tough to pass, not as entertaining on the super speedways and Talladega in general. So we'll see if that remains true. But yeah, don't really have too much else from the race preview, stats, history type deal.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned about the starting position, him coming from so far back to win is like now, running 4 wide, fuel saving, things like that. It's easier for these guys in the back, I think, to get up to the front, and if you do push it harder than some other people that are saving fuel, then, you can get up there. I did want to read one thing from NASCAR Insights on X. I didn't pull the graphic. I apologize for that, but I'll just read it here. At Talladega last fall, 140 of the 171 green flag laps saw 20 plus cars within 1 second of the leader, the most in any race on record. Additionally, it saw 44 consecutive laps, lap 17 through lap 60, with 20 plus cars within 1 second of the leader, the most ever. And they posted it with that picture of everybody kind of fuel saving and going 4 wide.
Yeah.
So I do think we'll see some of that. It's a beautiful thing to see. But Tino, I'll just kick it to you real quick. Are you a fan of that, or are you kind of, think it might be a little lame because they're not really on the gas there?
Yeah, it's such a tough spot to be in, at least for me, because I love looking at it. I love watching that. I love to
Mhm.
me, like, oh, that's great racing. And then after like the visual is staying the same for 20, 30, 40 laps, then I'm kind of like, wait a second, they're not really doing anything. And that's the
Yeah.
part that does hurt it a little bit. I'm gonna be pro NASCAR racing every time, which people may not like, but like I'm hoping that they can race this way this weekend and not make it about fuel saving. But but that's not really possible. That's not what's happening here, because that is the smart thing to do. So that's why I'm in a tough spot, because I want to root for it. I want to root to see that type of racing and have them also race. But that's where we kind of drawn the line in between, to where it's like, oh, if they are going to race like that, you aren't going to see positions being changed, guys racing, for the lead. You're just going to see people fuel save. So
It's
it's tough
tough.
because I want to see both, but you can't have that, I feel like.
Yeah, it's very tough. I mean, at least it looks beautiful. It does look so beautiful. So we'll see it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's fun. But, like Phil said, you want Phil, you got
I was just
something?
pointing to the comment down there. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
that's a fact. Like the super speedways are that's that's how I get my friends to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I've started like doing the podcast, it's the super speedways that my friends are hitting me up. Like, hey,
Mhm.
who do you have? And I try to steer them on like the best way to. I secretly am trying to steer them to like have fun on the race while betting it, so that they make want to hit me up the next week. So yeah, Brian's exactly right.
Yeah, I use like my dad as a gauge. Like if he's probably gonna watch this. And so like that to me is like that's the most casual fan. He'll just watch and it'll be fun for him. All right, let's head right into it. So we're gonna make one pick. If you're new to this, one pick from all the teams you see on the left there. Best of the rest is any team you do not see, and a wild card can be anyone from the teams listed. Doesn't matter if you already picked from them or not. So Tino, let's start with you this week. We're gonna go 23-11. Your pick to lead off after the break here. We're back at it. Talladega. Who do you got?
So I'm gonna go with, right off the bat, Bubba Wallace. Now, I was a little disappointed in him when I picked him for Darlington, I believe that was, and I did have him to win outright in that race as well, because I felt like everything was gearing towards him getting his victory this year with how he's been performing. Now, I think this is a track where he actually can get it done. We've seen where he's, leading laps at super speedways, everything like that. And I don't need to go too deep into it, but where my head is at is the average running position throughout these super speedway races in the next gen era. Yes, that may not matter at the end when there's a big wreck and takes everyone out, but I want my guys to be in the mix. I want them to be able to be in position if something like that happens or not, because last year that was the biggest thing. Was I was watching my boys, like you guys talked about as well, getting people in to watch a super speedway race who may not watch NASCAR yet already. And I was like, okay, guys, get ready. Big wreck's coming. It's happening. They're 3 and 4 wide. It's going to be crazy. And it just never did. So to me, if I can get someone who's out front leading, that could be good. Bubba Wallace is 8th in terms of average running position in the next gen era at super speedways. That's the angle I'm going to take. That's the approach I'm looking for. Guys that have been running up front no matter where they finish at these types of racetracks.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I'm Bubba as well for all the reasons you just stated. And so let's go even further. Let's just jump right into this season. We've had 2 drafting races. He's got the 4th best true average running position. He's one of only 5 drivers to run over 60% of his laps inside the top 10. So yeah, I mean, he's just got to be up there. You just got to be up there. Hopefully, if the stuff happens in front of you, you somehow dodge it, get through there, sneak through, get a win. But either way, if he can just avoid major issues, I think we're looking at a good finish here. So give me Bubba. Phil, who do you got here?
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep. I mean, it's everything you're saying about Bubba. I won't really go into anything more. I mean, I will say, like, from a drafting track perspective, he's definitely more of a Daytona success story than he is Talladega. But, this is like his home state, right? Like, so he's got a little juice there trying to do well. Because we know drafting, whether it's Daytona or Talladega, like if you have that skill, you'll eventually kind of break through no matter which track it is. And he clearly has that skill. So, so it's that, and it's other like lack of option. I don't trust Tyler Reddick here, which is weird because he won a race here last spring, but I don't trust him at all. It just, his, other than that, other than the victory, his highest finish is 16th. His average finish in those other 5 races is like 23 point something. So I don't trust him. Riley Herbst, he's kind of sneaky. He's only had 2 Cup Series rides. He finished 9th in 2023 and 20th in the first race and 9th in the second. So he's clearly serviceable. If you wanted to be super different, Riley Herbst is an option maybe for the wild card, but just lack of, data to pull from for him. There was Caesars has, I was trying to pull it up as you were talking, Ryan, that Caesars has like a weird prop where you can bet like they like combine, it's called the team triple. And so if you gave they don't even have 2311. That's how much they don't think these guys are going to be good. But what I was going to try to pull up was the odds for like Wallace to win, Herbst to finish top 5, and Reddick to finish top 10. Like that's what that team triple bullshit is. So
they do that on FanDuel quite a bit. Not necessarily the same team, but they do like the specials or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, that would be something, but I just can't go with Riley Herbst and Reddick. Just he's not trustworthy at this point.
I like Herbst, like, in a week like this where like a lot of casuals will play DFS and stuff, like Herbst, if he doesn't qualify all the way in the back, so he's not mega chalk, if he qualifies in the 20s or something like that, I like him, as a lower owned play to survive.
And a top 10 play.
Top 10 bet, something like that.
Yeah.
We did bet. So I like placing bets for super speedways just because I'm a psychopath. So, but I like just betting winners. I did bet Bubba at 20-1. We have him fair at 17, but what is fair here? Nobody ever knows. So, I bet Bubba. I just think it'd be fun. I got a couple more. I'll sprinkle as we go throughout everything here. All right, you guys good on 2311? Want to move forward to front row?
Sure thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Front row, I will lead it off here. And for front row, I am going to go with Todd Gilliland. Really good finishes here in the Gen 7 era. 7th, 10th, 12th, 8th. Gregson has a 3rd, but no finish is better than 19th in his other ones. Zane, no finish better than 21st here in his 3 tries. All my pre-practice and qualifying scores have Todd ranked above his teammates here. So, just give me Todd. I don't really have any other hard-hitting analysis for this one. Again, it being Talladega. But I do like that he's, been able to survive here and has 4 really nice finishes. So we're just trying to get points in this game. Give me Todd. Phil, I'm going to kick it back to you. What do you got?
Well, it's NFL draft week. So anyone who can remember the old Frank Caliendo skit, the Todd. That's who I got this week as well. When we go to drafting tracks, I say it every time we go to Daytona, I say, Todd Gilliland looks like he's, pretty solid on when you're pulling all the data in, for the 500. Just wait till Talladega, because he is much better at Talladega than he is Daytona. Here we are. I got to call him out in the game. On the podcast, I have him at plus 220 for a top 10 on Bet365. That's the best number available for him. And I think he's frisky for a top 10 for sure. I think he's going to be part of the crew, leading. Maybe not leading laps, but like playing second fiddle to, the Penske guys. And he's going to be a factor in this race, no doubt. So I think he's definitely the best of this bunch.
Awesome. Tino, what do you got here?
Yeah, Todd Gilliland for me as well. And I kind of look at it in terms of who's going to work with who. So you got Blaney, Logano, that leaves Cindric out. Just as Phil mentioned, he's sort of the next guy up. Maybe we get Todd Gilliland working with Cindric. Then that leaves the 2 other front row guys out there. Noah Gragson working with Zane Smith. I guess then I kind of did forget about Josh Berry a little bit. Maybe he's high and dry, or maybe he's kind of tucked in with either of those guys. But that's sort of how I see it playing out, because that's how it has been in the past. Todd G just loves to run up front with Logano and Cindric. That's sort of how they do in all the super speedway races. So, yeah, and I love his top 10 as well, like Phil mentioned.
Yeah, he's on the same team that just qualifies up front on drafting tracks. Just what they do. Um, I don't know. Like he's and like Phil said, he's good here. He's just good at Talladega. Like the other guys, look at McDowell. He qualified in the pole both times. I think he finished like worse than 30th in both those races. So Todd's the one surviving. We got to go with that there. Tino, I'm just going to keep it with you here. Let's head into our first pick of the big three, Hendrick Motorsports. Who do you have for HMS here at Talladega?
All right, so this is a big one here because I feel like all those guys I mentioned before in terms of average running position, well, Chase Elliott's first, Kyle Larson's second, William Byron third, and then you also have Bowman in seventh. So all four of those Hendrick Motorsports drivers are running inside the top 10 throughout the entire race. I'm going to go with the guy in first, Chase Elliott. He kind of was the reason I lost the last race at Bristol. I chose him over Christopher Bell like you guys had. Just didn't really pan out for me there, but I'm going with him here. I think, right, he hasn't gotten a win this season. This could be a prime spot to get it done. And that's one thing I wanted to mention too, where I'm not scared to pick winners in this one. And I don't mean any, disrespect or to come out cocky, because I do understand how crazy these races are, but I feel like they haven't been as wild in terms of underdogs that we've normally seen at super speedways in the past. We got Ryan Blaney winning consistently, Logano, Kyle Busch is always up there, yet he hasn't won a little bit, but like it's the Hendrick Motorsports drivers as well. Chase Elliott's won a few times here. William Byron, you can count up front. Like, to me, although it's a crazy super speedway and anything can happen, I'm not really that scared to go out and pick winners like Chase Elliott, even Ryan Blaney. I know he's the favorite, but he's shown it every time again to be in front like last second or to get wrecked out. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at this week in terms of betting on these guys. And I feel pretty confident in the opportunity to do so just based off of where the finishing results have been on these super speedway races.
Awesome. I had Chase Elliott later here, but I'll go ahead and put him for my Hendricks picks just so we can kind of talk about the same guy here and just not beat a dead horse later on. Chase Elliott, man, I love it. So he's one of the guys that I have a fun stat for tonight. He's just been amazing at Talladega in the Gen 7 era. He has a win. He has the 3 top 10s. But this is the cool stat. He hasn't finished a stage 2 outside the top 8 in any of those races. So when you need to be in position to start a stage, to be up front at a Talladega race, he's there. He's the only one with that kind of consistency finishing these stages and just being up front all the time at Talladega. So, yes, give me Chase Elliott here, and I'll just have to maybe pivot some things around, or I might mention someone else depending on who Phil goes with right here. So, Phil, who do you got?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to go with Elliott. I think Tino made a good point. Like, you can't really go wrong with any of the Hendrick guys this week. So I may be going with 3 Hendrick guys in my camp by the end of it. But to start off, I am taking the guy at the top of my board, and it's William Byron. In a racetrack or at a racetrack that is so unpredictable, so difficult to be consistent, William Byron is consistent. It's crazy. 6 for 6, finishing inside the top 15. That is absolutely insane. There's nobody else that has anything like that. His average finish in the next gen car is 7.7. The next best is his teammate Elliott. You guys called him out, 11.8. That's a big difference, like almost 4.1 average spots better. It shows you how consistent he is. It's whether it's average finish, whether it's driver rating, whether it's running position, whatever stats you want to go with, he is either 1 or top 4 in these categories. So I'm looking at the next gen Dega, and then I also like to split out all of the super speedways with Daytona in there as well. So he's 3rd in average finish if you loop in Daytona, but he's done all of this at Dega without a win, and in this next gen era. And I think that is going to be interesting. So the last 4 races here, all top 7s. That's insane. And I'll give you this. Somebody else, I'm going to throw this out there now just to maybe sully somebody's thoughts on one of the other big 3 drivers. But I have him in a head-to-head matchup. Now, I know head-to-head matchups are sacrilegious in some betting circles. Not for me. I love betting head-to-heads in super speedways. It's just fun. But he is
We called Byron out specifically on the Daytona show because he's like 2-8 versus BJ McLeod or something like that. So go ahead.
well, he is 6-0. Obviously, with those numbers, he's going to be good against anybody. But he is an underdog, -110 on DraftKings against Joey Logano. 6-0 head-to-head against Joey Logano. Joey Logano, out of 39 eligible drivers, he is 37th in average finish. His best finish is 19th. Other than that, just absolute, pure, unadulterated dog shit. 24th is his next best finish. Just horrible. And it's crazy because it's not due to lack of speed or being good. He's like basement furniture, like no finish. Just can't get it done. So he's leading 48 laps and then wrecking out. So that's where we're going here. Is we're going with a guy who is as consistent as you could possibly be at this racetrack versus someone who is clearly in this next gen car not able to finish the race. 6-0, and he's the underdog. Putting that out there for anyone who wants to maybe bet on that and swing those odds the other way.
I love it. As we mentioned, guys, if your guys pop up here, your draft picks in another area, let me know and we'll fill them in so we can talk about the same guys. Like for my big three here, I'm taking William Byron. That's who I had, and I just swapped those positions there. But all the reasons that Phil just talked about, I mean, just an absolute stud here. His 4 top 10s in the 6 Gen 7 races. Only one other driver has done that, and that's Eric Jones. So just shows you, a little bit how random this is, although Eric Jones is pretty nasty at Talladega. Yeah, man, you said it all. There's no reason for me to pour anything else on here. Tino, if you did pick William Byron anywhere, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I like this portion of it because I did, in fact, do that. And you can put him in for my big three. I may have switched him from he was going to be big three or wild card, so put him in for the big three for me here. Because I'm ready for the next portion when it comes to it. But yeah, no, I love all those stats for William Byron, man. And that's another thing I wanted to note with him. Like, I feel like people aren't recognizing him as this super speedway guy. Like you, I don't know, hear about Blaney and Elliott and I don't know, like just those other type of drivers. And I feel like Byron kind of gets overlooked, and he's still getting these big finishes all the time.
Yeah, like like people say, what a lucky win at Daytona. Which, yeah, it was, but he's also there for when that crap goes down. He can sneak through and get the win. You look at the 2 races this year on drafting tracks. That includes that Daytona race, obviously. But he's ran almost 70% of his laps inside the top 10. So he's up there. If things go his way, that's what happens. And that's why he's winning these races. So, love William Byron. Phil, did you have Chase Elliott as your big 3 pick or wild card pick?
I wanted, so I'll throw him in there. I wanted Chase on my team. So we're still after all
leave
this,
the wild
we're
card
still
then.
Equal.
Yeah, well, I know. So I'm going to leave the wild card, especially here because wild card we can be so different here. Like you said earlier, wild card. These are the most fun weeks to have our wild card and best of the rest picks because that leaves us 2 opportunities at the end to just get a little funky if we need to. Phil, I'd like to lead off with you here for Joe Gibbs. Who do you have for JGR for Talladega?
Yeah. And it's funny, you have Team 54's stat up there, which I was staring at that, but he scares me at Talladega. So I can't take him for JGR when I have other guys that are more viable and, call me a chalky type guy, but I got to go with Denny Hamlin here. He has a 37th place finish in this race last year that weighs down his average finish number. It makes, it's a big blemish, which everybody's got a blemish on their resume except for Byron. But bounces back, finishes 10th last year. He's just, interesting because his, driver rating is not all that good. For what it's worth, I mean, in super speedways, it's not a huge telling stat, but it's weird that his speed rating in the next gen car at Talladega is so bad, and yet he continuously gets good finishes. So he's ninth in average finish. He's got a fifth, he's got a third, he's got a 10th. Like that's the kind of shit that I'm looking for here if I'm drafting someone on one of these big three teams. So Hamlin is where I'm gonna kind of kick things off with JGR.
Awesome. Yeah, it's not bad to be chalky. There's no wrong answers here. That's the best part about the draft. So you go with it. We'll always find a way to be different at the end if it is indeed chalky. Tino, who do you have for JGR here?
This one was an interesting one for me. I do agree with Denny Hamlin being the best driver out of the bunch, but I'm gonna stay away from him. Then we look at Chase Briscoe. Don't really think he's got what it takes to be there at the end. When I just envision him, I just feel a wreck, being him involved in a wreck or something like that. And then, okay, Christopher Bell is a driver where I think normally I would go here, but he did get his win in Atlanta. And to me, I kind of feel like that super speedway magic that he's had kind of goes away now. Now he's going to get involved in a couple wrecks. It's going to recycle. So to me, I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs.
Oh,
and
Team 54. There we go.
Come on.
Wow.
Team 54.
That's big.
Team 54 tunes in every week. He's been waiting for this moment. So Thank you for making a dream come true. Team 54, thank you again for tuning in.
Yes. I'm going to tell you why I'm going with Ty Gibbs, because he's tied for second best average finish over the last 3 super speedway races at 11.3, and his average finish at Talladega overall is 27.4, but his average start is 13th, which is decent for a Toyota at a super speedway. Thank you for Team 54 for providing me with that knowledge. And I feel confident in it, because if he can start up front, stay up front, maybe he finishes up front as well. And when I'm looking at drivers who are potentially due for a victory and need it to come at a place like this, he's one of them. There, you have to imagine sort of similar vibes to maybe like a Brad Keselowski this week, to where they're deep in the standings. If they're going to get a win, it may have to happen here.
Awesome. I love it. And I love it because, we're all the same picks until now, because I am Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
So JGR, leave it to them. I mean, so Christopher Bell for me, it's similar to what you're saying, but it's just about the consistency. Like, he's had 8 Talladega races with JGR. He's finished in the top half of the field 6 out of 8 times. So again, nothing like crazy. He has 3 top 10s there, so there is some upside. But I like that he's finished in the top half 6 out of 8 times. That just means he's biding his time, surviving. And we're just trying to earn points here and not tank. So I'm hoping that he can just, do his thing. He snuck in that win at Atlanta earlier this year. So, again, I don't think Atlanta's like Talladega, but it is a drafting track. Just saying, Christopher Bell, was it last year or the year before? He really started kind of popping at drafting tracks. Like, he'd be there toward the end. So, yeah, I don't know. Give me Bell, just super talented. Yeah, and I'm glad we're all different there. That's kind of cool. That'll lead us right into this next team, Penske. I don't know if we'll be different here. I'll lead it off, and it's Ryan Blaney. I mean, this is no secret how great Blaney is here at Talladega. He's the favorite in my pre-practice and qualifying scores on Win the Race. The co-favorite after we sim the race 20K times. He's every book's favorite to win the race. 3-time winner here. He has a win at Daytona. Just a great drafting racer overall. He's one of only 2 drivers to run over 60% of their laps inside the top 10 in the 6 2024 drafting races. And this year has an average finish of 5.5 in the 2 drafting races. So he's just back doing it again. Rock solid. Leads a ton of laps here. Just needs to survive. And what did he finish last? Did he have good finishes last year? I'll look that up. But either way, Ryan Blaney. Phil, I'm kicking it back to you. Who do you got for Penske?
I can't not take Blaney. I already said my piece on Logano, so I can't take him. And, Cindric, is, I don't have my wild card written down yet. So Cindric could find his way out there if I want to make a case for him, but it's got to be Blaney. I mean, those numbers are unbelievable. So Blaney it is.
Last year was when he had the bad finishes. I apologize. It was the year before where I think he finished second and first. So yeah, he can do it. We all know it. Do you got
Yeah,
anything else? I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was just looking those up. I apologize. Who do you got here for Penske?
No, yeah, make it a Ryan Blaney for me as well here. I think one of the guys in the comments saying, Phila saying, is he crazy or does Penske always dominate the first 90% of the race and then they just fall back and don't finish? You're not crazy because that's how it happens, and I'm probably gonna happen here again. They will probably, I bet Ford and Team Penske will lock in the first 8 to 9 spots in the grid, maybe 9 out of 10, which we saw consistently. I feel like we've seen them just dominate qualifying, all be up there, all work together, and then all have it go wrong. And that's just where it's going to be. Ryan also, commenting there saying it's because Ford has an edge in qualifying at super speedways, and it's true. That's what we've seen. So I can see Ryan Blaney getting up there, but this is a track where I don't mind betting on Blaney to win, even with him being such low value at such a crazy type of racetrack. To me, look, we've seen Blaney. Let's not forget who Blaney is throughout this entire season, right? He's been trying to win in terms of being in position. Last few laps, things have gone wrong. I think this is such a situation where you need something to go right to win at Talladega. And to me, he's my pick to do so this weekend because you need everything that has happened to you throughout this past season to forget about that, forget about all the engine failures and all the times that they could have had a win and had. And same thing at Atlanta. We saw him leading in position, best car, and that gets spun out as well there. So to me, it's got to be Ryan Blaney here, and I expect him to get the win if something doesn't happen to him, like he's getting wrecked or something like that goes wrong.
Yeah, I pulled up a stat from earlier this year when we were talking about the Fords and how they finished. And in 2024, 6 of the top 10 drivers in true average running position at drafting tracks were Fords. But then when you look at average finish, there was only one of them inside the top 10. So yes, they'd run up front all day, couldn't get the finishes. So that is that feeling that he has. That's because it's happened. So Tino, let's kick it to you, kick it back to you for RFK here. Who do you have here?
So this is an interesting one. I feel like and kind of Brian mentioned it too in the chat. Priestberry, favorite dark horses. Oh, he said for the pole there. I don't mind either of those drivers to go out and potentially get a strong finish. But I'm going with Brad Keselowski in this one. Brad K to be my draft pick here and to potentially get the win. He's plus 1,400 to get the win. I'm seeing that on Bet Rivers. I do like that value there from a driver that's always in contention to do so at a super speedway. But more so, I'm thinking about Brad heavy here more than I have in the past because of where he is in the standings. I don't know the exact spot, but last time I checked, it was back around the 30s, right? Around those guys that where you wouldn't expect him to be. You'd scroll and still not find Brad Keselowski. To me, he needs to put these finishes together strongly, but also keep in mind he may need to just win at any point this year to have a chance to get back into the playoff picture. That's really what I'm looking at right now. I know it's still early, but for him to be down thus far, like as far as he is, they have to be going to tracks like these where they have to put everything on the table to try to get him a win and have Priest and have Busher pushing him no matter what because of how far down he is in the standings. I think we may see that this weekend.
Yeah, I absolutely love Brad this week. This is one of the guys where I have a fun stat for it. So just follow with me here. So he is one of the best Talladega racers of all time. Of all time. He has 6 wins here. It's twice as many wins as he has at any other track in the Cup Series. He's raced here since 2009, 32 races. He has never gone more than 4 years without a win. And his last win was in 2021. He's winning.
Whoa.
He's going to win one of these. So, I don't know, 14-1. I took it. I like fun bets like that for this. I like rooting for him to get back in the game this year. This is a fun one. So yeah, I just found that out. It's kind of funny just looking at it. Like never goes more than 4 years without a win. Finishes second in both Talladega races last year. Second in both. And now we're at that fourth year. He's got to win one of these. So let's go, Brad. Phil, who do you got?
I just love how you guys are talking up my third round pick in our season long standings.
Yeah.
I need this guy to get going, man. So yeah, I'm very much interested in Brad Keselowski this week. He's my pick for this team. I stared at Ryan Preece. I'll be honest with you guys. I stared at him pretty hard because I assume you guys are going to go with Brad. Busher just doesn't have the consistency here to want to take him. Preece, he hit or miss at Dega, but this year on the super speedways just hasn't shown me what we would have hoped. So it's going to be Keselowski here. And I don't know. I mean, have we had in the next gen era somebody go second, and then win the race? We had. It was Ryan Blaney in 2022, and then 2 races in 2023 had that same exact pattern. So Robert's thrown a lot of bad juju in the chat tonight, boys.
The chat does not like us.
Robert.
There's a lot of them out there.
Robert, watch your mouth.
But yeah, I mean, Keselowski, for all the reasons you guys are saying, he's got to do something. I mean, and it doesn't look like it's happening at one of the conventional racetracks, right? So, Tino, your point, like he's going to have to win a race to make the playoffs. I'll go a step further. Like he's going to have to win one of these like wonky tracks to win. He's not going to. It doesn't look like they have much going elsewhere. So it's a big week for them.
Phil, I'm sticking with you here to head right into Spire. So go ahead and just keep it rolling.
I will go ahead and keep it going. My pick I had written down. I have him bet for a top 10 at plus 260 on Bet 365. And then it turns out his crew chief is leaving. What the hell? But Justin Haley is my pick for this team. Justin Haley, I mean, I've got to put the Rodney Childers thing out of the picture for a second here, but 10 career starts at this racetrack. He's got 2 top 10 finishes. Both of them came in the last 3 races. So 2 of his last 3, he's finished inside the top 10. I love that. When he was driving the Colleague 31 car, he didn't finish worse than 20th. That's a shop that is pretty decent for super speedway racing, and it shows like he's got the ability to get that car around a place like this. And then we know Corey LaJoie was always kind of frisky driving the 7 car. Well, what does Justin Haley do as soon as he jumps into it last year after the trade? He goes out and he finishes 7th in the 7 car. So I don't see any of these other guys having a real, I don't know. I'll say they have chances, honestly, but they don't have the backing from the data to kind of prove like, yeah, they could do it. Justin Haley, I see the numbers kind of telling me, hey, this is a driver who's done it. He can do it. He can get around this place. So to me, it's Justin Haley or bust.
Yeah, while all these like changes might affect him elsewhere, he's been a good drafting racer everywhere he's been.
Exactly.
Any team, any crew chief, any series, he's a good drafter. So yeah, I love that pick. Tino, who do you have for Spire here?
Well, me and Team 54 align again. It's going to be Carson Hocevar for me. Now, I did have Justin Haley on my mind throughout the entire week for everything Phil said. I agree with. And just the fact that Justin Haley has been so strong at super speedways in all 3 series throughout his career. But there's something about Carson Hocevar running up front in Atlanta that really kind of stood out to me. And I mentioned it with Brad Keselowski. We talked about it with Ty Gibbs. It's the fact that this is a team that is actually capable of winning. Now, I wouldn't say they can go out and beat, the best of the best each and every week at normal racetracks, but at your traditional racetracks, they showed a lot of speed. And I feel like maybe they could have made the playoffs had they not had bad luck on various occasions already this season. Now they're looking at a spot where they have to probably win to get in. And I see Carson Hocevar being aggressive. To me, I also think, well, he's not going to have people to want to work with him. Doesn't really seem to matter. He still seems to be up there at the end, or wrecking. So I'll take that chance. Give me Carson Hocevar, because I feel like it could be, as Team 54 said, it'd be poetic. Like, I could see him trying to go out and get this win here, and doing so in a way that is Hocevar-esque in this race.
Yeah, he's not shy. I mean, I think, he'll make people work with him, whether they like it or not, just the way he goes. Do you guys even need to ask who my pick is here for Spire? I mean, don't you already know? It's Michael McDowell. Pick him every single week. I don't really care where we are. So I like Michael McDowell. So his qualifying here, last year, that's every reason why I'm picking him right now. I don't like him when he qualifies on the pole at this type of racetrack. I like him when he qualifies mid-pack or a little worse or something, and he can just kind of take his time and find a good finish. Over the last 4 or 5 years, he's started 22nd, finished 5th, started 23rd, finished 3rd, started 21st, finished 8th, started 29th, finished 3rd. That's a lot of great upside finishes there when you're just starting mid to back pack and just have to kind of do your thing and be a smart veteran NASCAR driver and get your finish here. And I think with the type season he's having, I think that's exactly what this team should want to do here. Just kind of play it safe, let the stuff happen, and hopefully you dodge it and get a good finish. Because he's borderline on that playoff, cut line window. And it's still wicked early, I know that, but it's been a great solid year for him so far. So yeah, just give me Michael McDowell. I don't think he's going to qualify up front like he has, and that's why I like it. So Michael McDowell's my pick there. Now we're going to head into best of the rest. Best of the rest can be a pick from any team that is not listed on the left side here. I'll go first, and my best of the rest pick is going to be last year's winner, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This is more than just a win that he got here, because he's won here more than that. He has 2 wins at Daytona in his career, and he's got 2 wins at Daytona. And again, so I thought this was kind of a weird stat. So he's a veteran cup driver of over 10 years. And of all the tracks he's raced 10 plus times, his best average finish is here at Talladega. So just think of all the crap that can go wrong here. And he's racing it every year here, twice for 10 years. And this is his best average finish. That's pretty insane. He's finished top 10 in almost half of his 23 races here. So that's just silly. So that's what we're looking for here. He finished 4th and 1st here last year. And through the 2 races this year, number 1 on my true performance scores for drafting. So give me Rick Stenhouse. I think he's rock solid at this type of track. And obviously here, it's his best track. So give me Ricky. I know that's always, interesting to say, but that's what makes this show fun. So, Tino, we're going to kick it back to you. Who do you got here for best of the rest?
Would you be mad if I went with Ricky too? Because
No.
I feel like I need, all right, then throw him on there for me. Not only was he my pick, but I also looking at the stat to go along with what you're saying. Best average finish at Talladega in 10 plus starts. First is Dale Earnhardt. Raise hell, praise Dale. Second, Davey Allison. Third, William Byron, which we all, Phil had a great talk about him before as well. Fourth is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. To me, when he's in that type of mix there, so impressive, so great to see. And that's another example to where, yes, this can be a crazy racetrack, but you're going to have these drivers that have just mastered it. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., whether you like it or not, is a master at Talladega. Ryan Blaney, master at Talladega. William Byron, master at Talladega. And maybe they'll all work out, right? That's the chance, and that's what I get for putting them out there like that. But the chances of it are way less than everyone else out there. I got to go Ricky as well here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's such a fun thing to pull up there. So thank you for that. Phil, you going Ricky?
Well, I had Ricky written down, but I feel like it's too.
We're all different.
It's too volatile of a track to join up. I feel like I'll make it a little bit more interesting. There's a name that's been said a couple times tonight, and it was just said in the chat by Phila. So he and I have more than just the first 4 letters of our names in common. Eric Jones. Eric Jones is someone who I have a bet on this week that I'll get to in a second, but he's sneaky here. And it's not because like he's been driving the 43 for a little while now. And I feel like with Eric Jones, when we go to racetracks where he's got good history, it's like, well, that was all before Legacy, or, Richard Petty or whatever. At this racetrack, since joining the 43 car, he's been very, very good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 10s in 7 races. And in the next gen car, he's 4th in average finish. He has 4 of the 6 finishes inside the top 6. That's crazy. And his worst finish was 35th last year. There's his blemish, right? Everybody's got a blemish. But really surprising that a driver is able, we got to find guys who have that skill, who have that muscle. We've identified a few of them here tonight. You guys just called out Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Jones has that muscle. And in 16 career starts, he's got 8 top 10 finishes. That's a 50% hit rate. That's damn good in super speedway racing. So I think he's frisky for top 10s out there, but I'll throw this out there. I hate to do it to you, Tino, and our boy Team 54, but he's matched up head to head against Ty Gibbs. And I took that bet. Let me just make sure I see where that was. That was on Bovada. He was minus 115 against Ty Gibbs. And it's kind of a similar situation to the other matchup I took, right? A very consistent driver here from the history in Jones versus Gibbs, who is right down there with Logano, and very poor finishes, not being able to get it done. So I took that head-to-head matchup, and that's what drew me to Jones. So yeah, I think you guys taking Stenhouse definitely steered me in a different direction. I was ready to take Stenhouse, but I'm fine getting Jones for sure. Like,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet Jones 48-1. That's another fun one. I'm waiting to bet Stenhouse, just full disclosure, because he normally qualifies like 30th back. So I'm just hoping that you get another, bit of, I don't know. Could it swing 10 points? Could it go 30-40? Maybe he goes 40-1. Definitely would like that. 30's close for me. I don't mind 30 on him, but if he qualifies like he does 35th, then maybe he goes to 40. I'd like to just kind of wait and see what happens on some books when they reopen. But yeah, that's awesome because I love Jones. Love Jones all week. There's only 2 drivers who have the 4 top 10s in the 6 Gen 7 races here, and it's William Byron, who I also bet 16-1, and Eric Jones, the 48-1. So had to take both of them. Really like it. The sim show value, not very thin value, but value on both of them. Let's go to the wild card. Someone dropped. Might have dropped this name earlier for my wild card pick, but Phil, we're going to stick with you. I want you to lead off the wild card round here. Who do you have to close everything out?
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been floating around names. I have my notes here, just kind of like jotting things down, and it's a game time decision for me. So putting me on the spot being first, I'm just going to pull the trigger on a risk, and I'm going to go to somebody that I was not planning on taking to start the show. And as a matter of fact, Ryan, I said I wasn't, but I am going to Austin Cindric. Cindric doesn't have the resume, the qualities that I typically like on super speedway racing when I'm betting on people. But for this game, I think he's worth the fun here because he does have 2 top 10 finishes out of the 6 races. He's got a 5th place finish in 2023. If he doesn't get a top 10, it's pretty consistently like right around, 22nd ish. Right. So that isn't the end of the world either in super speedway racing. If you were to finish there, but the reason that has me looking at him is going back, looking at his season. the two races that he was a factor in were the two drafting tracks. He was a monster at Talladega and didn't get, I think he finished what, 8th, but he deserved higher than that. And then he was controlling that entire Atlanta race, felt like, and gets wrecked out because of some craziness towards the end of that race. He was ranked like 1st and 4th from, this one website that I'm looking at that ranks how they do in each specific race. Other than that, his season's been dog shit. So what I'm saying is he needs it. He clearly is a super speedway driver. This season, they have a lot of stuff they can pull from to where, like, man, just put yourself up front, do what you did in those first 2 races this year, and you'll be a factor. The Penske crew is going to be out front. So I'm going to take a shot here on Austin Cindric and say that he is going to kind of do what he was doing earlier. And if he does the same exact thing, leading laps, he's up front, leading a bunch of laps, then he's going to be in a good position. And we'll let God sort it out at the end. So Austin Cindric is my wild card. And I didn't think I was doing that.
Yeah, so that's another guy we bet. He was 22-1, I believe. So I have like 5 bets to win, maybe 6 total on the week. We've mentioned them all. But Cindric, dude, so last year in the 6 drafting races, the only driver with a true average running position inside the top 10 in those races. Number 1 in my true performance scores on drafting tracks on Win the Race. This year, number 1 in true average running position, running over 90% of his laps inside the top 10. The next best guy's at 68%. So he's just on a whole other level here. And in my true performance score is 4th best. So rock solid drafter. He just has to finish one out. He's getting screwed a lot at the end here, whether it's his fault or not, just maybe some bad luck. But yeah, man, he's running up front. Things can change quickly. He could get a win. That's an awesome pick. Tino, why don't you go ahead and give your wild card pick here, and then I will close it out for us.
For sure. So, wild card, kind of to how Phil mentioned his went down. I just have so many names in my head that I could go with. But there's one driver that stands out above the most right now, and it's because I thought of him last week randomly. And I feel like if I don't pick him here, and I could have, I'd be kicking myself all week. That's going to be Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, I feel like, has been up front in some of these super speedway races, maybe not as much as the other 300 Motorsports guys, but he's just a driver where I feel like he's been performing well enough to have a victory, right? Almost had one at Homestead. It's been up front a couple other races this year, and it just hasn't happened. And he really isn't that guy to go out and dominate a race. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to do that here in terms of domination, but I feel like this could be a moment where he does go out and get a victory, or at least get a strong finish because of any calamity that happens. I think he could be there around there at the end. Now, the other drivers I wanted to mention that I was thinking of, AJ Allmendinger was up there, John Hunter Nemechek was up there, but RCR was the main group I had to just get away from, because last year when there was a break in the season, we saw Austin Dillon come back and just dominate Richmond, and it was really for just no reason. And I feel like maybe an Andy Reid type of mentality with this group, to where you give them a bye week, they're going to come on strong the week after. We saw that happen multiple times with that group. I just want to put that out there to everyone else who's watching. RCR is on my radar to have a turnaround in some fashion throughout the next few weeks here, because we saw it happen after every break we've seen it. Not just last year with Austin Dillon winning Richmond, which he did, but the year prior to that as well, they came out a lot faster than they were racing for whatever reason after the off week.
So I feel bad here because we're only going to be different by 2 drivers, but Alex Bowman's my pick. And I don't have anything else written down here. He was my pick all day. He was actually going to be my pick for Hendrick to just start it out with Alex Bowman with a bang. But I have to go with it here. So we're going to have a 2v2, Carson Hocevar versus Michael McDowell, and Ty Gibbs versus Christopher Bell. And then Phil's got some different guys here than us, like I think 3 or 4 or 5 different. So it's going to be interesting come Sunday. One thing I'll throw out there about Alex Bowman, this is similar to what I was talking about with Stenhouse, where, a 10 plus year Cup career, uh, his best average finish on tracks he's raced 10 plus times, his best average finish is at Daytona. So another drafting track, that one kind of blew my mind because I would have thought Alex Bowman was better somewhere else or more consistent somewhere else. And he's great at Daytona. While that's not Talladega here, it is another super large drafting track where you need to be good at surviving. He does have finishes at Talladega of 8, 2, 7, 9, 5. I mean, he's been there. He can do it. And I think so. I got one other thing here. Yeah, so while Talladega is way down his list of average finishes, he does have a 28% top 10 rate here in his career. And that number sounds low when you just say it out loud. But you look at guys like you mentioned Logano. Logano's won here 3 times. His top 10 percentage is only like 4% higher than Bowman's. So he's just gotten the finishes when it happened. So I think Bowman can eventually get there. But if not, he's had those solid finishes, and we're trying to get some points here. So I think Bowman's rock solid. All the points Tino said, and then whatever I just sprinkled on there. So there it is, boys. I didn't know it'd be that chalky between Tino and I at a Talladega track, but here we are. We'll see what happens. Fun show. Do you guys got anything else you want to add?
I'll just say this. I saw a name or two in the chat mention this, and it's always been kind of a little trope that I have when we get to the super speedways. But Ty Dillon, got to mention Ty Dillon. And I'm saying this half facetiously because he finished 14th last spring, and he's driving in Colleague cars now, which I called out earlier, right? Like the Colleague cars are built really for super speedways. I mean, Justin Haley, like I said, didn't finish outside the top 20 in a Colleague car, and Ty Dillon has the pedigree. His style of racing matches up with super speedway. So top 10 is how I would play him, and it would be just for fun, but I couldn't let a super speedway go without talking about old
Yeah, in the Cup Series points on the season, I mean, he's not having some killer season, but he's running in a lot of positions in these races that I don't think we normally see him. And he's, season-long standings. He's beating Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson, Riley Herbst, SVG, Cole
That's
Custer.
pretty crazy.
I mean, yeah, he's
Impressive.
he's doing okay. He's doing okay. And I don't know. I mean, he's not far behind his brother. I mean, he's 3 spots behind his brother in the standings, driving for RCR. So
this is the week where we need a book to give us the Dylan versus Dylan matchup. I would take Ty.
That'd be fun. That'd
funny.
be fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, dude, you could almost be taking that at any track we go to now. Ty versus
Fair
versus
point. Austin. Wow.
I mean, it's like that would make it really interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, cool. Well,
good stuff.
This was a great show. Yeah, I think we got a lot of good data out there, a lot of good bets. I know it sounds like I start saying like all these guys I bet outright, but just please know they're just sprinkles. They're on larger numbers that did show a little bit of value. I don't go in here putting a million units into a Talladega race. I just wanted a little something. So when I'm having a beer at night watching this race, I can just enjoy it a little more, I guess. So that's my own degenerate way. But yeah, play safe. Don't blow your bankroll on Talladega, whether you're playing DFS or betting. Be smart about it. And thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Phil, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all your content?
Yeah, give me a follow at Full Tank Phil on Instagram and X, and give me a look at the podcast, Full Tank with Phil, for all the Cup Series breakdown. And appreciate you, Ryan.
Tino, where can everyone find you?
Yes, sir. At Tino, PATTIGNO, also on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, giving out my best bets. Stay tuned. May see me on there on Sunday as well, so be sure to tune in. And got a shout out to chat this week. Awesome show. Didn't know how many people will be tuning in post break and for a Talladega show, but it was great. Like normal, we got Brian, Team 54, Kyle, Robert, Davey's in there, Philip with some good comments, Robert, who I mentioned as well. Just everyone out there who's been commenting. Ethan, he didn't like my one of the picks I had, but that was all right. Big Ross, appreciate all you guys each and every week. It's good to have you guys in the chat. Robert Allen as well. Just being able to talk with you guys, and I'm excited for the 28 straight weeks of racing action we got now.
Yeah, gonna be sweet. Thank you guys. The comments, thank you guys for doing this. Really appreciative comments coming through. Always cool to see. And, also the ones too where you say this is helping you, whether it's betting, DFS, anything, just your overall process heading into the week. Hopefully, we drop some nuggets in there that you keep with you throughout the week and weekend that help you succeed. So, thank you again. Wintherace.info is where you can find all my content, Greg Mathern's content, betting, DFS, 20,000, race simulations, all the fair market value your heart desires. So wintherace.info. Thank you guys. This has been episode 11 for Talladega. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.